What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. Got a review for you. Now, this is the review that you've been waiting for because this movie has been out for 4 weekends now. We're going into the, we've already passed the 4th weekend. And so I checked it out for a second time. I checked it out on opening day, on the very first showing, and then I just checked it out again 2 nights ago. And now I'm giving you my review for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. It's directed by J.J. Abrams, who directed The Force Awakens. It was originally going to be directed by Colin Trevorrow, who directed the Jurassic World, which I was actually looking forward to. I was looking forward to his version of the story, which was written by him and writer Derek Connolly, but now it is the J.J. Abrams version. And I was okay with that because Force Awakens was a huge success, both a box office success, a critical success, and also I loved The Force Awakens. I actually also loved Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. I really loved it. I thought it was a good movie. So for those that didn't like it, you guys might not like my review of The Rise of Skywalker, but here goes. Anyways, definitely huge expectations for this film because you know, I enjoyed The Force Awakens, and I felt that J.J. Abrams is gonna bring back that same quality to the final installment of this film. This is the final film in the Skywalker saga. This is a big deal, and we're not going to see another Star Wars film for 3 years. At least that's what I believe, okay? So this is the end of the saga, and this wraps things up. So there's huge expectations, and he's got a very big task, okay? After what happened with the Last Jedi, a lot of fans are very unhappy about Last Jedi. Now J.J. Abrams got to do something very big, and he's got to end it with a bang. And so he did. It was a huge movie, I will say that. But it was definitely, I'm going to be completely straight up with you. This is the worst Star Wars film out of all 11 Star Wars films that is out there, not including the Clone Wars animated film. Of all the live action films, also not including those Ewok spin-offs that went direct to TV rather, The Rise of Skywalker has got to be the worse than Phantom Menace. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm saying that it's really bad. I think that all the Star Wars films are good, including this one. But this one's got to be on the bottom of my list, right below The Phantom Menace. And the reason why is because this film was just full-on course correction. They're trying to undo what they did in Last Jedi because they felt that the fans felt that, or at least they felt, and by they I mean the studios felt, Disney felt that they need to please the fans. Otherwise, we're going to have a repeat of what happened with Solo, and that was a poor box office result. And so they got to do things that will make the fans really happy. And that was what I liked. And that brings me back to talking about The Last Jedi, where Rian Johnson took a lot of risks. And these risky moves cost the love of the fans for his film. They didn't like it at all. Now, The Rise of Skywalker is kind of like what The Force Awakens did, and that is they weren't taking a lot of risks. They were doing the safe route, and the safe route was just do a lot of things that was the opposite of what Rian Johnson did. Rian Johnson took risks. J.J. Abrams didn't take risks. Maybe because that's what Disney and Kathleen Kennedy did not want him to do. They just said, you know what? Wrap it up. Make it a big movie. Make it a great movie, but make it a film for the fans. And for the fans, it was. This film was full-on fan service from beginning to end. You know what? I really had a hard time finding enjoyment out of the whole movie. I enjoyed some scenes, okay? Actually, no, it wasn't even scenes. It was moments. I enjoyed some moments, and guess what? All those moments were the nostalgic moments. I only enjoyed the nostalgic callbacks to the original trilogy for this saga. Those were my biggest moments for this film. It was like, whoa, that's great. You know, that's how I felt about those moments. But for the rest of the film, I couldn't find a single action sequence, a single action set piece that I really needed to revisit, like the opening chase or the speeder chase in on Pasana, the big space battle, the lightsaber fights. None of them really stood out to me, like at all. Like I never felt like, okay, that was a sequence that I need to see it again, need to see again. And for a big movie, like for the final film, like you would expect a bigger space battle. Like it's huge in scope, but like there wasn't much of it. It was just focused on other things that were going on, and that makes me feel like this film is a bit lazy in the sense that it relies too much on MacGuffins. If you don't know what MacGuffins are, they're physical plot devices. Like, okay, we need to find this thing, like a key, for example, to get to this part. And now that we found this thing, now we have to get this thing, which, you know, helps us locate this thing, which brings us to the final battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are MacGuffins. And, you know, the Transformers live action franchise from Michael Bay is very, very good at dealing with MacGuffins, because there are MacGuffins in every single film. Whether it's the Allspark or the Shard or the pillars or whatever, right? The fact that this film is like full on MacGuffin, like Indiana Jones, always looking for that one thing to help drive the story forward. And I think it relies on that too much. But at the beginning of the film, I just felt that there's something really strange about it. And that was, even the opening crawl just felt really questionable. I just didn't like what I read. And then on top of that, the opening scene, it starts off with like a sequence. It didn't capture me because I was so lost. I was thinking to myself, who are they fighting? Where are they? There was no establishment to it. So I was just already lost at the beginning. And then suddenly the next sequence just feels like it just moves too fast. Like I like the chase. I'm not going to say what, but I'm sure you've seen it by now. I like the chase, but then it's just so abrupt. Like it's there, you're excited, and then it's done. That's how I feel like about the space battle. Suddenly, like all these ships are like, whoa, I should expect something huge, but I don't really get it, you know? And, you know, this is a Star Wars film. There's got to be lightsaber fights. None of the lightsaber fights captured me. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of lightsaber fighting going on in this movie. But, like, the way, the style of the lightsaber fighting and the way it was shot and the way they were swinging at each other, it just feels so lazy. It's just Rey doing this a lot. Like, she really is just doing this a lot. And it feels too much like a dance. The first lightsaber fight in Force Awakens felt very, very raw. You know, it just felt like Rey's a noob. So that's why she's swinging like this and doing like repetitive moves. She doesn't know how to wield a lightsaber. Kylo Ren's being very aggressive and like he's slicing Finn in half and all that stuff. That was awesome. I love that. Rian Johnson's lightsaber fight with those Praetorian guards, it felt like a dance, but it was just, they were doing so many different things with the scene, including, you know, throwing lightsabers and dropping lightsabers and activating them in people's faces. You know, that was really cool. They're doing a lot of new things. It's very risky. It did feel like a choreographed dance, but still, you know, it was different. This one just felt like, okay, there's just two people just swinging at each other randomly. It's going nowhere, and I can't really accept this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And like I said, the whole movie is just fan service. It's just course correction. It's like they're just trying to do things that are just trying to fix everything that was done in Last Jedi. They're trying to undo things. And now at this point, now I want to know and watch Colin Trevorrow's version. I feel like it could have been a darker version, and it could have wrapped things up better than this one. Now, I'm not going to say that this was a bad film. It's just not as it's a bit lazy, and it's a bit incohesive. Like, it's a complete blur as to what's going on. There's so much going on, and I feel like the direction that they decide to take with the Return of Palpatine is a bit lazy and unnecessary, but like, whatever, it's done, so be it. But I think that they could have gone a completely different route. And that's really unfortunate, because this is the end of the saga. That's it. But it has a lot of elements that, you know, Star Wars fans would enjoy. And I love the nostalgic moments of it. So I'm not going to say that it's a bad film. It just wasn't the Star Wars film that I wanted, okay? There's a lot of moments that made me really happy. But they're just moments. They're not full-on scenes. They're just moments. You know, a lot of it, you know, some of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but heck, it's science fiction. So, and science fiction in the Star Wars world. So you know, they'll explain it. They'll make a way to make it make sense. So I'm just gonna give them a 6 out of 10. I watched it twice. I'm not gonna go watch it in the theaters again. I saw Last Jedi 3 times, and I probably saw Episode 7, Force Awakens. I think I saw it 4 or 5 times because I really loved it. But this is a movie that even the second time, I thought I would liked it more. I still felt the same way about it. I was just like, okay, it's done. Like, that's it. Okay. All right. I was just looking at my friends kind of like snickering to myself like, okay, we just watched that. 6 out of 10. Definitely the worst of the entire saga. And that's that. It's done. I'm ready for something entirely new. Knights of the Old Republic, I hope. As always, if you enjoyed this review, you want to see more, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.